What up, y'all? It's your boy AG, and I'm coming at you guys with the next episode of my life story. It is episode 24 or something like that. I be getting episodes off. Y'all gotta forgive me for that. I might be right about that. I don't know. But if y'all remember where we left off last time, we left off where I just pulled up to the school, and I'm gonna meet Mia, and she has this paper of all this stuff that I've said in the conversation to Justin. Let's get into that. Before we begin, let me explain one more time to y'all the situation, okay? Situation is this. Mad months went by. I came there in January. At this point, it's just about, what is it? I think it's like June, the beginning of June. It was during the last couple weeks of school, so it was like maybe May. So she has this paper that has all this conversation I had. So I sit in the car. She's talking to me, and she's like, "I want to talk to you about something." I'm like, "Mm-hmm." She just pulls out this paper. I'm like, "Mm-hmm." And she's like, "What is this?" Boom, gives it to me. I'm like, "Come on, man." That's exactly what I said. I was like, "Come on, man." I'm like, "You know what this is." I'm like, "And if you read it, then you obviously read everything I said, right?" She's like, "Yeah." She started getting mad upset. I'm like, "So if you read everything I said, then what did I say at the end of that?" She didn't answer me. I'm like, "Let's look." I looked down at the paper. I'm like, right there. I'm like, it says right there that I can't do this to either one of them, even though I want to. And she's like, "Oh, well, no, this is wrong. This is messed up." She starts getting mad upset. This is like, kind of like the last straw for her at the time. She was just really upset about everything that was going on, because it was just like, you guys got to think, for the last couple months, it's just been me doing suspect stuff over and over again. It was me talking to Trish, or Trish sending me some kind of naked-ish pictures. Or if it wasn't that, it was, by the way, I forgot to tell you guys, Toogie's girlfriend, Ashley, was snitching too. Ashley told Mia that I was trying to get one of her friends, which I wasn't, but I was talking to her, but I wasn't trying to get with her. But as you know, it definitely is inappropriate. I'm not justifying myself in any way, shape, or form with that. It definitely was doing some inappropriate things. Just for the last couple months with me and her, I've been having animosity. It hasn't been the same between me and her, because I'm like guarded, kind of like I don't trust her. So at the same time, I don't trust her because, you know, she said what she said and it didn't happen. I'm holding it's more, I trust her as far as I don't think she's gonna cheat, but I don't. How can I put it with you guys? I'm just at a point with her where I'm just frustrated, and I'm just like, yo, this is nonsense, yo. Straight up nonsense. So I have my animosity towards the situation. She has her feelings of me doing things. Overall, I was being a douchebag because I really should have just left her alone when things didn't work the way they were, rather than drag it out. But like I said, I was being mad selfish. I wanted her to myself. I didn't want nobody else to have her, because I really did feel like she could have been my wife. I really did honestly feel like that was the person I wanted to be with. It's just situations just wasn't working. So anybody, once again, as I always tell you guys, if you are in a similar situation and you have this stuff going on where you got to make a decision whether you don't want to deal with the situation you're in, or you can go ahead and choose to leave it, more than likely do the respectable thing. If you feel like you can't accept the whole situation, leave it alone. That's all I can really say about that. Let's keep getting back into what happened. And I'm going to keep this 100% real with y'all. Talking about this for me is really difficult, because I feel I'm so shameful of the emotions tied to it. Like, I don't think I've ever really spoke about this, so I'm going to speak about it, and we're just going to try to get into it. This is 100% real. You know, I'm going to keep this shit 100 with y'all. During that conversation, that argument we had, I was really trying to be manipulative. I was trying to make it seem like it was really her fault for why I was doing what I was doing. And even though self-wise, I could self-justify it, I can be in my head like, oh, she should have did this, so this is why I'm doing this. Even though I had those justifications, I was being immature. Because there's no justification for doing anybody dirty. There's no justification for, you know, being promiscuous, running around, trying to do things, trying to get with other girls while you're with somebody. If you're with somebody, you're with them, and that's it. There was no justification for anything that I did. Yet I sat there and tried to justify it and try to make her feel bad for some shit that I did that she caught me doing. Stupid, right? Real stupid. And not only did I do that, not only did I try to like nullify the situation, I completely neglected her emotion. So like she was extremely upset and hurt about that. Her trust was broke. She felt like she couldn't trust me. And while she felt like that, I was on some fuck her emotions. I want to make sure that I feel like this is right. Because like I said, I was in like a frenzy. I was just on some, yo, like, screw that. Like, hell no. Like, you did what you did. Now this is me getting payback, so to speak. You know? And it was really bad, man. Like, we got more to go over. Not only did I sit there and try to nullify that, after that, I was like, yo, let's go hang out. So after I nullified that whole thing, it was like, yeah, like, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's not what it looks like. I'm sorry if it seemed that way, but, you know, I was just thinking about it because this situation is so sucky, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, after that, we went over to my friend's house. And we're over my friend's house, we're chilling. And I'm going to keep this 100% with y'all. She has an emotion of disgust with me and confused. She's confused and disgusted. And at the same time, I know this, but I completely, like, null and void her emotions and pretty much just try to coerce her into, like, some kind of sexual action. Not like, I'm not talking about oral sex or anything, I'm just talking about the acting itself. I just didn't want to say effing or anything like that. But right after that happened, I was on some, I was being a fiend pretty much at that time. I was like, yo, we should definitely do something because I don't know when the next time I'm going to see you. I know you're going on vacation. She was going on vacation. This was going to be the last time I seen her before she went on vacation for 2 weeks. And the reason that she wanted to come see me with all that paperwork and all that stuff that she had is because she was going to make a choice. In her mind, what she had set was she was going to break up with me and flirt with people on the cruise that she was going on, or be single while she's on the cruise because she wanted to, like, rectify how she felt about the situation. But when I tried to nullify how she felt about it, right after that, what I did was I kind of, like, I wouldn't say pressured, but I definitely, like, was being really persistent about, like, yo, let's do this, like, I'm not gonna see you for mad long, like, let's do this, like, completely not caring about her emotions at all, and just being a complete, yo, if there's anything I could say I honestly regret in my life, and I don't regret much at all, it would be that situation right there. Because after what she said and how she felt, I completely was on some straight selfish craziness. Just some really self-righteous craziness. Like, yo, nah, like, I have a good reason for doing this, it's your fault, and even though I feel like, we're having these issues, let me get some buns, though. That's essentially how it was. Real asshole stuff, yo. Like, real gutter, grimy, filthy, nasty nonsense. Like, and, being the woman that she was, she actually went through with that whole thing. Now, mind you, at the end of it, after, everything was said and done, she felt extremely, guys can try to imagine how used you would feel in that situation. She felt so used and so messed up that when she left, I don't remember when she left and, like, walked out the door and everything, we both had this feeling. I had this feeling of, oh man, yo, like, I think I really messed this up. And she had a feeling of anger, like she was really, like, angry about that situation, like she was just mad. She didn't want to admit that she had anything to initially do with this happening. She wanted to put it on completely me, but in reality, when I look at this now, it was my responsibility as the man to make sure I stepped up to the plate and made the decisions that need to be made. It was not Mia's responsibility to break up with me. I was older. I was more weathered in life. When she made the decision that she couldn't do what she said she was going to do when she turned 18, that was my responsibility then to make the situation work the correct way. But I didn't do that. I handled it completely wrong. And she went on that cruise. When she went on that cruise, we took like a break. She was like, I got to think about us, blah, 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 blah. She went on the cruise, she left. I didn't talk to her for like 2 weeks. I'm still working at the Gap. I'm still having issues with my dad and everything. I haven't talked to Mia in 2 weeks. She eventually comes back, and we're having a conversation. And I just bought a new phone, too. I remember this. We're having a conversation because I told her, I gave her my new number. She calls me, and we're talking. Essentially, she just tells me that she can't do it anymore. She's like, oh, I can't do it. I can't be with you no more. I just don't feel right, blah, 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 something. Now, I know BS when I hear it. She did feel that way, but the reason she said she couldn't be with me anymore because she had prospects that she wanted to invest some time into. I knew that, but I didn't want to say that because I still was in the wrong, and I knew I was in the wrong for what I did, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, hell no. Like, I can't deal with losing her because I didn't want to. Simply put, I didn't want to. So what ended up happening was, I got really upset. It was actually, I think, the one and only time where I try to actually use crying to my benefit. You know how some dudes do that really coochie stuff where they fake cry, or they just get really upset. They fake cry to get the girl to be emotional, to not leave them or something like that. I did something similar to that, but I wasn't fake crying. I was like legitimately like really upset because like everything hit me at once. Like, yo, are you gonna lose her? You guys got to think about how much I put a lot of, even though I was agitated with the relationship and everything, I put a lot of emotion into her. So she was like my outlet for most things. And I was just thinking about, yo, I don't want anybody, the agitation of somebody else potentially having her, the agitation of being with somebody for 3 years, and thinking to myself, I still had that feeling of this is her fucking fault. All that together really killed me, yo. And I'm being 100 with y'all right now. This is being real. I tried to prevent her from breaking up with me, but during the end of the conversation, she said that she wouldn't. It actually worked. But when she said that she wouldn't, I thought about it, and I was like, no, screw it. Whatever. Do what you don't want you to make the decision. You do what you got to do. She decided not to be with me, and that was that. Right after that, like I'm talking about the day after, I go home. My father does some douchebag shit. Oh yeah. I get home the nenext day, and my dad's there, and he's like, "Yo, I need the rent. Do you have any money on you?" I'm like, I don't know. He's like, "That's bullshit because I see your pay stub right there. I left my pay stub on the counter, and I forgot I did that. My pay stub said I made what, $800 that check or something like that." This nigga goes and forces me into paying rent early. It's the middle of the month. My car is like glitching out, and he's like, "Yo, you got to pay rent early." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you got the money on you. Got to pay now. We need to get this paid." I'm like, "It's not even the fucking end of the month. Like, what do you mean?" Like, he's like, No, you got to pay it now." I don't know what the fuck he did with that money, but I ended up giving it to him. And I felt like a real bitch after that. When I gave him that money, I felt like a real bitch. I was so mad, yo. I was angry about the Mia situation. I couldn't talk to him about the situation. He didn't know any of this stuff was going on. I was mad about the Mia situation. I felt mad alone. I didn't know how to handle my emotions because I didn't have her to be my outlet as she normally was. I get home and this nigga takes $400 from me prematurely. Then next week asks me for $200 more for insurance. And I got fucking mad, yo. $600 gone from one check. And I started investigating. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I was on some real angry stuff, yo. I was an angry individual during this situation. And I'm mad at myself. I wouldn't admit it then, but I was mad at myself for like pretty much ruining that situation, but I was still mad at Mia. I had a lot of mixed emotions. So I was mad at Mia for making me get to that point, but I was mad at myself for doing her wrong. And now when I look at it, it's completely different, because I'm out of the situation, I'm older. But back then I was blaming it on her hard, like the initial cause of it all. But overall, it was crazy, like how I felt. So I do a little investigating. And I asked mad people, how much do you pay for car insurance? How much do you pay? He's like, I pay this much. Somebody told me they pay $150 a month, and they said that they had mad speeding tickets. Now, my father, when I brought this up to him, I said, yo, why is my insurance $200? He's like, oh, because you got mad speeding and parking tickets or moving violations or something like that. And then I thought about it. I went in my room, mad pissed off about that because the way he answered it. Because he answered it with an attitude. And I'm just like, yo, I never got convicted of those. I'm like, the only way the insurance would go up is if you got convicted of being guilty of those moving violations. So I started thinking. I was like, damn. So he went to sleep. No, he left. He left the house temporarily. I heard him go out. I get up. I'm looking through the room. I'm like, yo, I can't find anything that has anything to do with insurance. And I'm just like, So I can't find any proof that my insurance is not $200, but there's no way in hell it's $200. And I'm thought about it logically, and I was like, yo, and I'm 20. I forgot I was 20 something at the time. I'm like, I'm not even 18 years old. I'm not 16. I'm not 18. I'm over 21. I'm like, this doesn't sound right. I'm like, the only way I'm gonna find out if this is going on, and at this point, I was in problem solve mode. All I wanted to do was make solutions for my issues. So I was like, all right. I know what I'm gonna do. So I got this idea. I'm like, I'm gonna go up to him and I'm gonna pull his card. I'm gonna bluff him. I'm gonna go up to him and I'm gonna make it seem like I know exactly how much he's been paying, how much it costs. But I'm not gonna know for sure. I'm gonna try to get him to tell me. And I knew that this could lead to an altercation or a fight. because of the way I felt. I was angry, yo. Ziz could tell you, I was angry, yo. He was the only one that was really there for me during that situation with this Mia situation to calm me down. I was just mad. I didn't hear from, I wasn't talking to J.O. that much. I wasn't talking to Toogie. I was just talking to Ziz a lot about it. And I was angry. So I knew that if I went to my father with this, in this kind of condition, still paying $400 in rent, getting screwed over, not being able to do things because my father's getting me for money, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hit him with that. And mind you, my sister gets out of school towards the end of June, and my father said he's going to move to North Carolina in August. So I'm like, damn, I only have 3 more months of a living area. So not only am I running out of somewhere to live, I don't have my girl no more. She's on some rogue shit doing mad. I've made her into a spiteful, like, hurt woman. So she's running around just trying to feel something. So I know that she may be running around tricking. I'm like, no, I don't think she was. I don't know. But I know she may be running around doing something with other people. My father is getting on my goddamn nerves. I'm getting screwed over with money. My car's messing up. I have to move out in 3 months. I'm like, oh shit, everything's collapsing. Me and Trish aren't getting along because Mia sent Trish a crazy ass message. And Trish ain't messing with me at this point. So I have no one, I have nothing, but I'm sitting there like, yo, this is insane. Yo, my face looks mad, like glowy. That's crazy. So anyway, I woke up to my father. He comes back in. I walk up in. I'm like, yo, I'm like, how much is my insurance for my car? He said, oh, it's like blah, 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 like 200, whatever, 198. I look at him like, I'm like, are you sure it's 198? He looks at me like, what do you mean? I'm like, because there's no way in hell it's 198. And I know for a fact it's not 198. So I'm going to ask you one more time, how much is my insurance? He looked at me. He didn't say nothing. I'm like, yeah, because I know goddamn well it's not 200 and you've been fucking me out of mad money this entire time. And then he didn't say nothing, and I walked up towards him. Like, he was sitting on his bed. And I walked up towards him, and I was like, how much is my insurance? He nigga wouldn't say anything. I was like, all right. I'm like, all right, I see how this shit is. I'm like, I'm not paying fucking nothing else. I'm like, fuck paying all this shit. I'm like, you've been fucking me out of money this entire time? I ain't paying shit. Don't fucking ask me for a goddamn thing. Nothing. He didn't say nothing. I walked away, right? I went in my room. I got mad pissed off. I wanted to punch him in his face. I walked back out, and I walk out, and I see him sitting on the bed, and I grill him. I never in my life looked at someone with so much anger and so much, like, I looked at him in a way where it was like I tried to, like, entice an action. And when I looked at him like right in his face, just walked by him, just looking at him, grilling him. He's looking at me, I'm looking down at him, just looking at him with this face, like, fuck you. One of those faces, like, I'll punch you in your face type of look. Grilling him, like, all the way over. I go all the way to the kitchen, I walk back. As soon as I go in my room, I hear him start fucking flipping out, because I guess it sat in, like, what I did, and it made him really pissed off. And he started fucking yelling, we started yelling, nothing popped off. But at the end of that, it was pretty much the beginning of the end of that whole fucking situation. And it was pretty bad, because after that I was like, I refuse to pay insurance. I'm not paying shit. I don't have fucking shit in this house. I let it all out. Like, I let him know exactly how I felt. And shit was ugly for that situation. So we're gonna drop it right there. When we come back next, and this was a real episode, I hope you guys do appreciate the honesty in this, because I'm telling you, son, to admit that shit and say it like that, it took a lot. But at the same time, I'm a real nigga, and I need y'all to understand how this all works, because there's still a lot more with Mia to go ahead. We got shaky, but a lot of things keep happening. We're going to get back into that. So next episode we're going to be getting into is I find out I'm at work, and I find out that Mia's up to something. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about what she's up to, and I'm going to talk about how our relationship, we try to kind of piece it back together, but not dating, but kind of like as friends, and we'll get into that. And I'm telling you, it gets pretty crazy next episode, because I find out pretty much the next episode, not only am I going through all this other stuff, but I'm going to lose at least 2 friends that are really close to me in the next episode. Toogie and J.O. get deaded off from some shit that I find out. That's next episode. It's your boy AG. My life story. We're getting into that real stuff, because like I said, you already know what it is. It's your boy. I'm out. 1.